What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viridian County. It's me, Red Kool-Aid. On our last episode, we started sculpting out our downtown, our historic downtown. We built Sunset Park and we built Louis Armstrong Elementary School. This episode, trains, baby. We've been waiting on it for a long time. We've been waiting on it for so long. I've been talking about it for 8 episodes and we're finally here. As if you've been following, we put the university parking garage asset down as sort of a placeholder to where I knew I wanted my train station to be. Now, full disclosure, there is no asset for the train station style that I want. So you're going to watch this train station go through metamorphosis in this episode and a future episode. But to start with, we're going to use this really small, minimal train station asset. The thing I love about this specific asset is that brick wall that kind of comes built in with the little columns and everything. Of course, I know I could have made my own, but I really just like this as it is for now. At least we may even change that later on down the line, but it'll do for now. I'm gonna take a moment and move and compensate for the space that I did not understand that I was gonna have to use when I laid down this temporary rail network. All of this detailing behind this building was kind of after the fact, so we need to kind of slide some of that around. We'll clean all that up a little bit better though. And the station building that we're gonna use, this, you know, as you can see, this asset doesn't have an actual shelter portion of any kind, a terminal, I guess you would call it. Is that train lingo? Is it still a terminal? Not sure. We don't have trains in my city. But I could not find any assets that kind of match the feel, so I'm gonna have to use PO to make one or adjust one and resize it and recolor it to kind of match. Before we get into that, I'm gonna use a pedestrian road to kind of mark the area and make the train station stop complaining so much. So this road will be people only. Eventually I'll use a traffic manager to make sure nobody can drive their car through our terminal. Surface paint some of this up. I want the area to have that gravel feel, not just be so asphalt. Everything won't be asphalt. I love watching the tram network going by and things kind of just alive, even though around it. I told you I got better at playing the game not on pause. I hope y'all noticed that. So this is the base for the train station. Again, I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not even an uber fan of this building, but it'll work for right now for my remedial PO knowledge. I don't have the skills yet to do anything really dramatic, but this will do for right now. And we're gonna take off this terrible camouflage texture. That is just terrible. And we're gonna kind of shrink this. I want the building to sort of overlap the tracks a little bit, like you walk out of the building straight onto the platform. And we're gonna have a good time decorating all this up. The next thing we need to address is this terrible Alien vs. Predator texture that's on there. That's terrible. And I mean, what I'm gonna do is terrible, but it's gonna match a little better. I can't wait for you guys to get a few episodes away from this episode, because you'll see what we do to this. Oh my god. So we're gonna just kind of tinker around with the gradient just to make it blend a little bit better. This looks like shiny mud. I'm not a fan of this either, but it'll pass for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed things up through a little bit of this detailing. I'll tap back in with you guys in a minute before we do anything too dramatic. You guys hang out.
Keep it locked in right here with us on 98.5 City Sounds, baby. This the sound of the city.
wanted to use a couple of assets to kind of build maybe another little cafe. This was a disused maintenance building or something that was a part of the same complex. So we're gonna stick a Starbucks in there, and I think a Lush grocery, and maybe some tables and things, just to give the area a bigger imprint, a bigger footprint, I guess the word is. Alright, that should do it for that. Not too much time on that detailing time lapse. Our next mission and our main mission for today is to take this area and use it for some converted industrial loft space. I'm gonna be using the St. Charles Mill assets. You've seen them, you know them, you love them. So as always, our mission is how can we use them differently from everybody else? How can we make something that looks and feels unique for our city? In the lore of our city, this area used to, manufacture some kind of steel or iron products. And once the factory area became disused and was, it wasn't even sold, but the work just stopped. The workers' families pitched in all their money and bought the area and converted it into a really, really high-end, super swanky living area. So again, not really apartments. Maybe some of these units are apartments, but these are houses. People live here. You can buy one, but it's gonna cost you. So we're gonna lay out everything. It's gonna take me a while to kind of find a pattern. You can see me here kind of jigging these shapes around. We're gonna find us. I'm just gonna stick some stuff together. I'm probably gonna have to use some movie magic because this takes forever. Let's use some Vini Vidi Vici. There we go. So we're gonna take these shapes and we're gonna form our streets around the shapes, if that makes sense. Let's just get right into it. I actually like this little part here, so I left it in. As you can see, I had no loan to get. There was nothing I could do, so I actually had to let the game sim for a second just to build up enough money to finish the road networks. These things happen. And the centerpiece for this neighborhood will be a sunken tram stop with a working elevator. I'm not actually making this up. It's something I saw somebody else do, but I think the way I implemented it is a little unique, and the area that I implemented in is a little unique. So we're gonna go ahead and lay down those assets, and it's gonna take us a while to get that correct. So I'm gonna finish the actual tram network for right now. We need a tram to actually run through this neighborhood, so we gotta run a tunnel underneath the avenue here next to our rail network. Bearing in mind that I do want this to run to some other areas, so you see me doing this weird loop here, and I'm gonna connect it up. As with our raised shopping center tram episode, a lot of this is trial and error to make the tram stop exactly where you want it to and to make the paths line up. So it's gonna take me a while to get that right. I'm just gonna select which tram I want. I want a certain look. So we're gonna kind of finish some of this off. It'll look rusty for right now. Everything's ashy till I put the sauce on. Y'all know how I do. We're gonna paint this up and kind of recenter some of our pieces. Oh yeah, and I want to lay down some of these chimney smokestack joints just to even make the area have a bigger profile. And if you notice, I left some of the buildings different color. In my mind, maybe this little block was offices, that little block might have been a medical unit, you know, and those colors remain. I also did lay down a few office assets. I recoded a couple of office assets, really the smallest of the St. Charles joints. I made into little 2- and 3-man offices, you know, maybe notary or something, I don't know. So we're gonna have to do some hardcore tinkering with the pathing to make the elevators work correct. I basically have to stack 2 nodes on top of each other to make the people fall straight down. Before we even get into that though, I wanna spin this area around. I'm gonna use a couple of procedural object buildings that are of this same set, and I'm gonna use them to make a few custom things. The first thing I'm gonna do is make a fire department. Well, I'm gonna hide this fire department inside of a couple of PO buildings that I put down. I'm gonna lay down one more PO building, and I'm gonna stick a working fruit market and a butcher shop in there. These both are Rico to Eco commercial, so I can, you know, I want to utilize my farm goods that we are making. Tony Luke's, what up, Tony Luke? We're gonna bury this sign. We'll turn this into a Big Apple grocery. I don't like that blank space right there. We're gonna put down just a little brick decal in front, and now we're gonna kind of start tinkering with the pathing for this. Like I said, this is almost impossible. So we got basically our skinniest path, and we just want to make sure this part is kind of stacked up as much as we can get it, and then we'll lay the rest of it and we'll jug that around. Let's get that on point, and we'll add a node in here, and then we'll pin that down. No, don't destroy anything. Pin that down, and we'll make sure that's connected to the sidewalk. So this path is actually stuck to the ground. I'm gonna go back elevated for a second so I can see what I'm doing. Again, this is trial and error if you want to know the truth about it. I'm just gonna let it sit for a second and make sure people can actually go down. And I was jumping the gun a little bit. I first need to see, are people even able to just access straight up and down before I do anything else. Let's speed that up. All right, so the path itself is working. So now we'll work on making it a straight shaft. Pause. All right, you can start seeing people coming down. Oh no, I think the people are stuck. Oh, you know what it is? I was monkeying around with the nodes when I, you know, adding and taking away the nodes. It makes people get stuck. I feel so bad. Some of these people were probably on the way to work. You're definitely fired. Oh no. And look, this is the question I got. If you other people see all of these people just stuck and the elevator's obviously out of order, why would y'all continue to just pile up like that, hoping that... Can people stop coming down the path? It's obviously not working, okay? We're gonna have to get some maintenance crews out here with the Move It mod. All right, you people are just piling up like that. I'm gonna have to delete all this and you're gonna fall. So yeah. All right, so this group of people, they just seem to insist on not wanting to, they don't want to walk away. They have to do it their way. So I hope everybody's insurance is paid up. If you could grab the hand of the person standing next to you, this is going to get dramatic. Let's delete some things. Y'all gonna have to let go and let God. It ain't on me now. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna reset the pathing, stack the nodes back up so we know they're falling straight. And I'm gonna use some of the brick retaining wall to make another little shaft, pause, I hate that word, to hide some of the inconsistency in the movement. I'm gonna use a ploppable surface on the top to hide what's going on in the middle. Bam, bam, and bam. And we're gonna put this asset down. I think this is recoded as an office right now, and I'm gonna use some PO and a few props to make a double layer shopping complex. Now all of the buildings that I just stuck down there are actually working buildings. The top is of course props, the Starbucks is working, all the stuff is working, and the spawn points are set out on the street. But I wanted to kind of again make this area feel like they spend their money in their community. They got haters. Use a few of the planter props. And right here, I actually started feeling froggy, and I made a little balcony area. Like the long form of this detailing was nutty. Look at this. Bam! I told y'all I came to play ball. While I was detailing and laying down a tram network, I saw an opportunity to put some commercial shops, just a couple of small things right here on the back side. Maybe the people that live in this, further away from the little tram area don't want to have to go up there to get a sandwich or something. So I'm gonna use one of the commercial wall-to-wall assets and this little diner asset. I'm gonna recolor this to match. And don't worry about the white side. We're gonna put a really dope mural right there. But for right now, I just want to take a moment. Let's kind of look this up. We need to line it up better. Let's lay down some brick decals. The Warren brick, I really like this. I'm gonna copy some of this. It's easier for me to do it like this. And right here, I'm gonna have to use procedural objects to kind of. In the past, I would have just struggled to make this fit, but again, with little things like this, PO is now my new best friend. I challenge anybody out there that's been afraid to use procedural objects because you're like me thinking it's gonna break your game. Give it a try. For small stuff like this, I highly recommend it. I'm gonna put down a few parking assets, even though you can't see them under the decals. And this wall right here, I knew I was gonna cover it up with a mural. This is a temporary mural. I'm gonna, use PO to do something custom because I like the mural, but it doesn't match the area at all. I'm gonna slide it into position, and we'll change that. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna lay down a couple of planters, or really one planter, and then I'm just gonna copy it, put a little bush in it or something. Bam. There we go. We're gonna copy this, and we're gonna put a few of them around just so the area isn't so stark. The rest is just detailing. Like one of the first things I do is use an asset workshop sign to, I reskin it and make my own sign. You'll see. You guys hang out. I'll be right back. I'll finish the rest of this detailing off camera, but I wanted to go ahead and fix the mural before we jump out of this area. I decided to go with a painting from the artist Ernie Barnes. If you're wondering where you may have seen this, it was featured in the intro to show Good Times. You know, J.J. Evans, Florida Evans, hence Evans Forge. See how I put that together? We're doing it for the culture. Let's skip closer to the avenue, and I'm gonna lay down one lifetime, never gonna go anywhere industrial asset. This is the Dubuque Malting building. I guess they make beers or malt liquor, I guess, if it, you know, I don't know. But we're gonna actually convert this into some farming industrial that produce the farming products that we need to service all these eco commercial buildings we have. And I'm gonna leave 1 or 2 of these buildings as regular industrial. When you download this asset, you get the complete complex, but you also get the buildings that make the complex. So instead of me just sticking that one building down, which I find I've had problems with that one building. It acts funny. It doesn't act like a real industrial building. I want to build my own, and I'm gonna just fit it to look like the asset. So give me a moment to kind of work this out. Again, I didn't sandbox any of this stuff. You're watching me freestyle right now. I don't sandbox much to be honest. A lot of times when you see me building stuff and me having to heavily edit my videos, it's because we're doing that on the fly, baby. I don't like recreating the feeling. I'm like James Brown. We're going to do this thing once. Just checking back and making sure I'm holding the shape. I think there's one more bigger building left in this set. Maybe 2 more. All right. When I was first running the tram network down this way, I didn't know I was going to do it like this, but instead of running the network straight, like with an actual tunnel, I'm gonna create my own tunnel, and I'm gonna run this through the middle of the building, and I'm gonna make a sunken stop for this as well. It won't be as dramatic as the one we just made. I'm just gonna put like some stairs. It won't be like an elevator, but I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it normal. We don't do medium. We do it big.
We always playing the hits, baby. 42 dubs, we pay 98.5 City Sound.
Before I go boom like drop, fuck with that door like me. Not that rock, that P. I made it out of my sock, can't hold my Glock, reason I don't like that shit. Young turn, they can't wipe no bitch. Use my French, don't like no bitch. Limo 10 on fat, my girl, yeah, I had it hurt. So my bitch broke bad, I ain't had her hurt. Yeah, that's us. 2-tone AP, yeah, I'm bust. Got to hear from her, ain't even wanna fuck. Why? Slut, vibe. Nothing on me from sex, ain't that revive. Old nigga tell on bro, should dad. Dog, he ain't kill him, dog, he ain't try. Still a bet my last, she's nice in the hood. Hey, food train off, bitch, not good. Probably in some fast with a Glock in the hood. Porsche and take smell and walk on the wood. First turn nigga from the hood, they curious. Boys crying about 5 and cheers. I get the colors with number this period. I got your PM, won't put on the mirror. First young nigga in the 82 man, run a 14 mil, started 14 grams. Dope boy tickets and diamonds and Tim. You shouldn't play with that boy, he is not one of them. Bro, I kept taking hits, finally got me a him. Still make it double, I don't call when I see him. That's 550, 2018. Gotta come 20 if you hopping in the bin. Young turn nigga for the D to the A. I'm rocking with the lion, I'm rocking with the braids. Yeah, we pay. Yeah, we pay. I'ma turn up a little more this time. Just trimming back in, now I got it on dry. Had a spot like a varsity. What do you have? About 20, I fuck what you got. I put on trip, I believe I can fly. Niggas know that I'm rich, but they know not to try. I had a show in Detroit and I started real. I was 50 on all of the guys. All of these hoes in these stores make a mission. And plus, I'm a tip when they holding my side. Get in your car and just put on your flash and follow the Hershey. You say you gon' ride, cause somebody gon' die if they fold us. Turn a 5 to a dime, I can double up. Fuck around, rock a church on my double cup. This shit that have it on brand, I give it up. Tight to stay with a wood, ain't gon' give it up. No, I ran through a mill every week off a weed. Bro, beat the try, I can give me some stick. Got it back in the pick up, I won't even leave. Run it up, fuck around, get the Viridian County. Keep a hot boy with me, I got love from BG. Chasing his papers since 12 or 13, running around in these streets, it was me and my keys. First turn nigga from the hood, they curious. Boys crying about 5 and cheers. I get the colors with number this period. I got your PM, won't put on the mirror. First young nigga in the 82 man, run a 14 mil, started 14 grams. Dope boy tickets and diamonds and Tim. You shouldn't play with that boy, he is not one of them. Bro, I kept taking hits, finally got me a him. Still make it double, I don't call when I see him. from the D to the A. I'm rocking with the lane. I'm rocking with the brain.
And that pretty much does it for this episode as far as building things. I am gonna lay down this old school, I love this cargo station right here. I'm gonna lay that down, and I'm gonna lay down, here it is, I love this, this is so dope. And I'm gonna lay down some warehousing for some generic goods. Like I said, one of the debut malting buildings we actually left is generic industrial. I don't know what resource it will require yet, and we will take steps to plug all those holes in the coming episodes. Y'all just hang out with me on that one. I'm gonna go ahead and set this up to not have any imports coming in. Let's go ahead and put a silo down for so that little bit of farm stuff we did lay down, they can just run a few trucks up here, and we can make sure that this building is not screaming for resources. I can't stand that. Little red icons. Let's connect that up. Let's check this out. Just kind of want to check the angles. I'm still really excited that we have our trains, because that means going forward we can really start to do things to really utilize that network to its maximum capability. Smooth this on out. And this kind of completes our little industrial district that'll sit right across the water from our main downtown. I can't wait. I can see it over there. I can see it on the horizon. Let's get into some cinematics. I'm gonna tap back in with y'all. Hang out. Alright, that's it for me, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. We'll be back with an episode sooner than you think, because we're going to really start to dig in and do some even more unique things, some more what I call project-based builds, and we're going to have a good time. You guys come back. This is Viridian County. I am Red Kool-Aid. See you next time.